Welcome, everyone. Welcome to day number 89 of Elsie Lincoln Benedict's book, How to Get Anything You Want. Ding! We are on video number 89. We have had 88 previous videos. If you missed any of the previous readings, we have read this entire book together. We're on the last couple pages of How to Get Anything You Want in 7 lessons. So we are on the final and 7th lesson, How to Make Your Desires Materialize. This is one of my favorite books. I love her. There she is, Elsie. She wrote this book over 100 years ago in 1923. So 102 years ago. And her metaphors are fire. That is my love language. So we'll continue on reading and finish this up in the next couple of days. Again, if you missed any of the previous lessons, there is an epic playlist on my YouTube channel under How to Get Anything You Want by Elsie Lincoln Benedict. I encourage you to watch it over. I love to listen. And this is why I do this, because I loved YouTubers that did this. Just read books and just, hearing their thoughts and reading books that interest me or that I want to hear their take on. Like if you've ever watched a movie with like a director's cut, like back in the day when we used to watch DVDs, they had like an option for director's cut where you can watch the whole movie with when you hear the voiceover of like the actors or the directors voicing over the movie of like, oh, I remember in this scene we did this. I feel like these are kind of like the director's cut. I mean, not that I'm the director in any way, this lady is, but as I read through it and I'm just like stopping to teach and comment and share my real life experiences. So anyways, that's my spiel. Let's get into it. Yesterday we left off when she used the example of heaven is uphill all the way, but it's keen and bracing exercise. It's keen and bracing exercise. It's a good form of exercise. It means a healthier body, livelier mind, and happier spirit every day. And at the top, you always get the morning star. You always get the best view. And she was saying that anything worth getting in life is worth the price we pay for it. It doesn't have to be painful sacrifice. We might use those words, but at the end of the day, going to the gym or take somebody who is an all-star, like a Major League Baseball player or a Kobe Bryant, right? Or a Tiger Woods, anybody who is elite in their craft. Venus and Serena Williams, I mean, they own tennis. So think about people who are absolutely elite in what they do, and they reap all the rewards and benefits. They get their prize. However, they are the ones that do the most conditioning, the most practice, the most work, and they fall in love with it. Of course, it's probably, and they admit it, like, who else? Cristiano Ronaldo, right? The soccer player. Yeah. And they don't want to get up. There's some days where they don't feel like it, but they do it because that is who they are. It's a self-image. They're greatness. They are excellent in all they do. And it feels good once you're doing it. And so, yes, there'll be days where we don't feel like doing it, but by doing it makes us more confident, have more self-esteem. It's self-discipline, that's for sure. And it's always worth it because we get that beautiful view. However, we sleep in and hit the snooze button. That never feels good ever. There's never a day that we have procrastinated or missed or snoozed or checked out or put off till tomorrow that we ever felt truly good. Unless we're sick and we can't do it, but you know what I mean. All right. Crane goes on to say, life has been called all sorts of things. Life is a dream, a gambling game, an opportunity to get all the fun and the least pain possible, a probation preparatory to the next life, a value of tears, etc. Suppose we consider life as a business proposition. Look at it from a practical profit and loss, shrewd, and common sense point of view. Very well. First, what can we get out of it? Only wages. There are no endowed and privileged ones. All are day laborers. For everyone, when the worker works over, must leave all he has gained and go back to that nothingness from which he came, as stark naked and poor as when he arrived. All the billionaire gets out of life is exactly what the bricklayer gets: his board and clothes and amusements. It's happiness we all strive for, of one kind or another, whether beer and cakes or turtled feasts, overalls or dress suits. cracker box or stock gambling on the market, social distinction, wealth display, political success, intellectual achievement. It's all happiness according to taste. There was another word I didn't. Pinochle? I know I'm saying that wrong. Is that a game? Is that a snack? Let's look it up. Pinochle. It's a game. How do you say it? Am I just a silly ding dong not knowing how to say this? This is, again, one of those moments where you're humbled. You say a word that doesn't sound anything like it. Pinochle? Is that how you spell that game? Cheese and crackers. Pinochle. Pinochle. Where does that come from? Pinochle. Pinochle is a trick-taking card game played with 48 card decks, 2 of each rank from 9 to ace, where players bid blah. Pinochle? That's an interesting pinochle. First of all, I've heard that, but I've never seen it written out. And clearly I did not know how to say that. Okay, so here we go. Pinochle. Pinochle. There we go. Anyways, okay, so we all try to seek our happiness according to our taste. If it's a game of pinochle or gambling, it doesn't matter. How is happiness to be secured? How can one be sure to get his pay? By finding out what he really wants. I believe that was lesson number 2. What do you really, really want? The first lesson, actually, I think it was lesson number 3 or 4. So lesson number 1 in this book was your predominant moods make your life. She talked all about how the way you feel predominantly will dictate your life. So get it together. And then lesson number 2 was how to get it together. And then I think lesson 3 was decide on what you want and then all that stuff. So again, watch the replays. It's fantastic. But finding out what you really want. This is not so easy. Most people work a lot for what they think other people think they want. Okay, let's read that again. So, how is happiness to be secured? How can one be sure to get his pay in happiness? Answer, by finding out what he really wants. That's in all caps, by the way. This is not so easy. Most people work a lot for what they think other people think they want. How can one find that out? By ascertaining those forms of pleasure that are frauds and bring on misery. The conclusive argument against drunkenness, licentiousness. I mean, this is taking me back to school, team. Taking me back to school. I'm sure this is a very simple word, but for whatever reason, I don't think I've ever read it. You hear words, but actually, I don't think I've heard this word. We'll figure out in just a moment.
Just $10.99 each. Mix and match any 2-topping
Lord, thank you for giving me an ad when I just want to listen to it.
Looking at how to pronounce these words and more confusing vocabulary and names many get wrong in English. Stay tuned to the channel to learn more. How do you say it? Licentiousness.
Licentiousness. Licentiousness. Licentiousness. A lack of moral restraint, especially sexual conduct. So just being loose. Okay, loosey-goosey. So it says, how do you find out what you really want? By ascertaining those forms of pleasure that are frauds and bring on misery. So drunkenness, I already forgot how to say that word. being loose, loosey-goosey, and the like, is that they are swindles, gold bricks. They promise joy and pay suffering. How can one tell what sorts of things pay and what sorts do not pay? By the collective experience of mankind and by accepting the guidance of reliable teachers. The cumulative experience of mankind shows that only those acts pay with which are fundamentally just, fair, honest, and kind. So across all humanity, what brings peace? What brings joy? What brings true happiness? It ain't gambling and drinking and drugs and partying, that's for sure. In the moment, it does. But those are frauds, she says. They're swindles, gold bricks. They promise joy and pay suffering. And so we'll continue on the next reading for what really is what deems good, true happiness within us. We'll find out. On reading number 90, y'all. It's going to be reading number 90. I hope you've enjoyed this. I appreciate your love and support. And if you, again, want to watch any of the other books, I mean, this is not the only book I've read, a couple Neville Goddard books, maybe a few of those. Wallace D. Wattles, The Science of Getting Rich. Of course, Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. And yeah, now we're going to get this under our belt, How to Get Anything You Want by Elsie Lincoln Benedict. We'll continue tomorrow with video number 90. Thank you for your love and support. If you need any support yourself, please reach out. All of my information is in the description box below. And I look forward to seeing y'all mañana. Have a good one.